So, today's episode is in commemoration of Africa Day, 25 May. Do you know the significance of Africa Day? Do you know why it is?
Don't put me on the spot. No, I don't. What I do know, though, is that other countries actually have it as a public holiday.
Really?
Zimbabwe has it as an official public holiday.
Yeah.
South Africa doesn't.
But I also feel like South Africa has 20 million.
Yeah.
The most public holidays in the world.
Really?
Yes.
Viva South Africa!
And you know what? It's not every Friday it must be. This year, thank you, 2023, you're treating us so well.
With the holidays, right? I can't wait for June 16th long weekend.
Right.
I am there.
And the August one apparently is also going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
And then if it's on Friday, then soon it will be. Yeah. Siyabonga, South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I also forget. So the African Union was founded on the 25th of May, however many years ago.
Okay.
That's the celebration of the whole thing. I don't know beyond.
Is it a day that other African countries also commemorate? Because I know South Africa, I know obviously Zimbabwe. I don't know. Do other countries also?
Probably. I mean, countries I like Ghana, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's probably a whole week of a holiday in Ghana.
Because Ghana's just like, I don't know. I'm lying, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about our experiences, like 30 in Africa. What's the first thing you think of that makes you uniquely African, a 30-year-old African? Well, a 30-something-year-old African.
I think for me, I've mentioned before in other episodes how I love traveling, but I love traveling mostly in Africa, and the significance of it is, and how I make it make sense in my own head is like this. I'm a born Zimbabwean, right? But I've never lived really in Zimbabwe. I lived in Zimbabwe for, I think, the first 5 years of my life. Then we moved to Namibia, where I spent the next probably 5 years of my life. Then we moved, or more than 5 years, but sometime in Namibia. Then we moved to South Africa and have been here ever since. And every time I go to Zim is like what I would say my home country, because that's where my parents come from. That's where my grandparents are. That's where a lot of my family is. However, when I go to Zim at the border, at the airport, they give me 30 days. They're like, I feel like I'm going home, but you limiting me 30 days, right? Yeah. And then, I don't know, I always get this feeling when I'm landing in when I'm landing into Zimbabwe, I'm like, home, you know? But I get the same feeling when I'm coming back to South Africa, home. And here's what I'm trying to get to. I feel like I don't have one home. I don't feel like Zim is my home or South Africa is my home. It's all my home. And the fact that I love Africa also, I've been to Rwanda, it felt like home. I've been to Ethiopia, it felt like home. So for me, I don't consider myself having a nationality of I'm a South African. I'm a South African maybe by documentation or whatever. Yeah, but by heart, I'm an African. Like Kenya, you'll find me there with the Kenyans. Uganda, you'll find me there with the Ugandans. Zambia, you'll find me there with the Zambians. You get what I mean? So I just feel like I love being African. Yeah. And because I'm a diaspora kid, I feel like everywhere is my home. I don't have just one home. And I think that's a nice thing.
I think it's pretty cool. And I think, sorry, as you said that, maybe I'm hungry. As you named all of those countries, I was like, chapati. Like I named the food for every country and I was like,
yeah, you are hungry.
Before recording, as you said it, I was just like, maybe that's the thing that draws me to all of those countries. Before I give any response to that, what was your experience in Egypt?
Ooh, Egypt. So, but Egypt was funny because every time we said where we came from, they were like, pizza, because their coach was pizza. Oh, so that's like all they knew. That's like all they knew about South Africa. Yeah. When I went to Rwanda, funny story. It was around about that time when that song Dibala was out, where people just throw themselves on the floor. So every time when we said, we're from South Africa, they were like,
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah, we're from there.
And then like, do you do it?
I'm just like, no,
No.
not everyone does it.
Yeah. In South Africa, it's not.
Yeah.
And I think being like so also being Zimbabwean born, and I think I really love being called Tinashe. I love being called Tinashe because I feel like Ghanaians have that thing. So South Africans have that thing. Abokatleo. Litsep. You guys know yourselves.
Botsepo.
Botepo. And then
Libotsidi.
TD. Chabi saying in Bali. Shout out. Yeah, you know you just know certain things, and you know Ghanaians. So I first picked it up on Ghanaians. Kwame, born on a Saturday. Kobe, born on a Tuesday, and that's just how it is, right? And I thought, oh, that's
how they name their kids.
That's why you get so many Kwame, so many like Kobe Bryant. Yeah, like Kobe Kwame.
Born on a Tuesday.
Kobe's born on a Tuesday. Kwame's born on a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I tried to learn the other ones, but I didn't. So then like realizing there was Louis Hamilton had a Zimbabwean chick on his mechanical team. But it wasn't obvious to us as the Zimbabweans because she doesn't have a Zimbabwean name or surname. Whereas like Tinashe, whatever.
Like from wherever you are, they will identify that is Zimbabwean. Yeah.
So you know, like Tinashe, the American singer, everyone is like,
yes,
she's ours.
Yes.
So I love being called Tinashe because wherever I go, I'm automatically just associated. And I think a bit of a different experience because I came here like years ago, right? Before there were a lot of Zimbabweans. As more Zimbabweans have come into South Africa, I've gotten more of an alignment with that Zimbabwean identity.
Right? Yeah.
So thanks for coming, guys, actually, because I know you guys probably, like, people probably see it as another way, but like the influx has helped me to feel more at home with myself. And
that is very interesting.
Yeah, like I truly identify as a Zimbabwean thanks to the symbols. So
thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having us. Thanks South Africa for having us. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Ooh, I'm so hungry.
Question for you: would you ever leave Africa, like permanently, like move away?
Never permanently.
Never permanently.
I would go if I knew I was going to get something. So, I mean, dream life, Europe for the summer, New York for the summer. Hello. That I can do. So 3 to 6 months abroad and chasing the summers. But I think also traveling a lot showed me that we actually have it all here.
Yes. I was literally about to say I've been to the States. No shade to the Americans, no shade to the Europeans, no shade to the Asians, but Africa has it all. Really we do. We do. Even from a humanity point of view. You know, not just having the land and having great weather and all of that. I mean, just like people loving each other. Ubuntu.
Yes.
I was in the States in New York City walking on the street and an older lady fell. And there's so many people walking on those streets. Everybody kind of just does this, walks around her and continues to walk. And I'm looking and I'm like, I'm an African. I better not even try and help her out. Maybe she'll be offended or I don't know. I mean, I got onto the bus and I greeted the lady who was sitting next to me. It looked like it was the weirdest thing. She had never been greeted before. Like here in Africa, you don't even just walk past somebody and not just say hi.
At least nod.
Yeah. So I agree with you. We have got it all in Africa and you're right. I think I'm with you. I wouldn't move permanently. I would move for something and then return at some point.
Maybe pound sterling or something, you know, and I put an amount. I think, you know, a big thing for me is like maybe dual citizenship just because of how the world is going now.
Yeah.
But no, man, you know, and I think, and maybe it's been very, from a privileged point of view, but we do have everything we need here under the sun. So our temperatures are not too hectic. Our food is organic. And I mean, South Africa is actually a country that's quite colonized on food choices, even Zim, quite limited. But even with that, we have quite
a variety.
And good food. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little bit altruistic, but even if you stay in the worst of conditions, you still have, there's this Actually, there's this informal settlement in George. So there's like the estate, South African urban planning. There's always a township next to the rich people's thing.
Yes.
So the estate, you like wind. It's like, through your fast, and then as you get to the top of the mountain, just as you see the sea, the estate.
Wow.
Go to the township, it's the exact same story. So,
Wow.
well, it's not rolling hills because everyone like lives everywhere, but same views, same everything. And yeah, maybe it's not like as beautiful conditions, but good food, a place under the sun, good weather, a piece of grass, which is something you don't get so much in Europe.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
a piece of grass. You can dream for your whole life to have a piece of grass.
Yeah, and it will cost you an arm and a leg in those places for that little piece of grass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then even if you look at pictures, so having traveled down like to Warplet recently for the first time, right? And how terrible is it that you first go international and then you come back? Like it shouldn't be like that. So like getting down to like Plate and stuff, I was like, oh, this gives like, like how the Italian Alps and the Swiss Alps, there's like blue lakes. Well, the lakes down there are not like blue, but it's like that mountain lake thing. I was like, we have this thing in South Africa. So why?
Why must we go to Europe?
No, like literally, I wanted to post pictures and be like, guys, for 3,000 rand, you can just come here to the lakes region of South Africa and be great. We really do have it all, and I think a lot is undiscovered.
Yeah. What's your biggest challenge, do you feel, as an African, as a young African? What are one of the biggest challenges you think we face? Just one. I know there are many.
Please can I say three?
Okay.
Please can I say three? Okay, the first one is I wanted to speak to the diaspora thing. So people in Africa don't see us as Africans. And I'm just being honest. Like I can see myself as an African, but other Africans will be like, nah, she's not. I must say it is like now it's cooler because you'd get into a taxi then you're speaking English. People will be like, what?
Excuse me?
Now it's more normal. When I get into taxis now, I just hear people having conversations in English. I'm like, it's not going to be me. So that's like one of the biggest challenges is identifying as African with all the dualities in my diaspora experience. And also things like my default is to speak in Afrikaans. Do you know that?
Oh,
yeah.
My goodness.
Yes.
Default Afrikaans, not even English.
No, well, if I'm thinking a thought like, so my default vernacular is Afrikaans, it's not Shona.
Sure.
And it's because of, I came here and, back then foreigners couldn't stay in township areas because you'd be like necklace. So I ended up being an Afrikaans person. And of course, apartheid has a terrible history and legacy. But I'm not offended because now when people are really offended about that thing in Amsterdam where, there was South Africans trying to get into Amsterdam to like go live. And then the last thing you do as you arrive, they give you this piece of paper.
Yes. I heard that. Okay,
yes. I
yes.
was like, is that a big deal?
Guys, just fill it in.
Just fill it in. Afrikaans is our language. And I know that it sounds so controversial, but it's like, so I've had to take on South African identity in all of its forms. So I can speak, when I speak English, people are always like, even my colleagues are like, oh, it's so cute when you try to speak Setswana. But I'm always like, barring, monna wari. And I'm sure my parents are like,
who are you?
and other people are like, other Africans are just like, who are you? And Shona people are like, who are you?
right.
And that's really challenging.
Yeah.
How's your language thingy?
The nice thing is that I can understand most languages. I might struggle to speak, but I try. I try, and yeah, I try. I really do try, and I think I'm doing a good job of it because people get confused. They're like,
"What are you?
Where are you from?"
Eventually, they're like, "Okay."
Yeah. So I try. It's difficult. I mean, South Africa has so many languages, and yeah, like I don't know. I'm just grateful that I can at least understand them all. But what's funny is that the Zimbabweans in South Africa think that I'm South African. And I went to a salon once and the lady who was doing my hair was Shona. And then she starts like dissing my hair. She's like, in Shona, she's like, Vudzi. Yeah, this one has hair, hard hair. You know, she was going on. And in my head, I'm like, what do I say? Should I be polite? Like the whole time she was braiding me, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Should I tell her or not? But, you know, she was like, okay, she wasn't insulting me, but she was
But yeah,
making fun of
nothing,
my
yeah.
hair, you know.
Is that necessary also?
So what I did at the end of that was like, I was like, you guys must be very careful. I was nice about it. I said to the lady, you guys must be very careful when you speak Shona, because some of us are actually Zimbabwean and we understand you.
I heard everything.
That's what basically. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You look very much like you're South African. I'm like,
yeah, but Shini, at the end of the day, what does that have to do?
yeah. She was so embarrassed.
Did you ever go back?
I did, just to, you know. I did. But after that, I was like,
yeah, and I think that's been one of the experiences you learn because people are shebering you.
Yeah.
And it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah. But for me, how I learned the languages was from boarding school. So I was in boarding school in high school, actually from grade 7. And you know, when you're interacting with the Zulu kids, they speak. You just have to figure out what they're saying. And I think really that's how I learned. That's how I learned all the other languages. I then struggled because I think I mostly had Zulu friends. So my Zulu became okay. Then when I went to varsity, I had Afrikaans friends. Yeah, like my closest friend at varsity during the week, like in class and whatever, was an Afrikaans girl.
Friends.
Melissa, yeah.
Shout out Melissa.
Afrikaans girl. Even now I have Afrikaans friends, and my brother and I are always laughing when I ask him what he's up to. He'll be like, "Ek gaan kuier." I'm going to, you know how Afrikaans people, you know, when they're going out is to kuier. Yeah. So we always laugh about that. But yeah, interacting with the different. So where I struggle now is the Tswanas. I have Tswana friends, and hey, it's difficult, but we try.
Is it difficult?
Hey,
I must say Tswana are the ones that really bring their language.
Yeah,
they really bring their
Tswana Pedi. Yes. My goodness, those languages. Yeah, no, they're difficult. Oh. They're difficult.
Pedi so hard.
Yeah, Pedi is difficult.
But for me it was Zutu. I call it Zutu because it was Zulu and Sutin. I couldn't differentiate. This was after my Afrikaans phase. Then like in primary school, I spoke Zutu, and then I moved to Pretoria. Mm-hmm. Then I met. Now, like my default is Tswana, and I was asking myself why. 2 of my closest friends are from Botswana, but then also all the Pitori people.
Tswana.
Like Tinashe.
You have to figure it out.
And I think the nicest thing is language as a cultural barrier. So like growing up, felt very outside of like South African experiences, but now just being able to speak, like even just being able to speak with like the cleaners and the security guards. And also traveling, because I've traveled to the places, so they'll be like, Mara Tinashe, right? Then I'll be like, no, I'm from Zim. Then, you know, they start saying the Shona word.
Yes.
Then I'll be like, where are you from in Limps? Then they'll be like, no, I'm from wherever. And because I've been there now, that
makes the difference. Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah.
I feel so African.
Yeah. There's this other issue that nobody really likes talking about. It's the xenophobia issue. You know, we all know it. Like, there's a certain group of South Africans that doesn't want to see Zimbabweans in their country. How does that make you feel?
This is so controversial, but I understand.
I also get it.
I actually get it. I mean, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, so it's what is it, ZSP? What is the name?
Yeah, Z. Yeah, those permits.
So those things came out in 2009, soon after so to give you guys some background, Zimbabwe's economic crash started in 2008. So a lot of people flooded into South Africa in 2009. And so you could get a work permit. Back then they didn't have critical skills, so you could get a work permit, or you could get a spousal permit from marrying a South African, or you could get a study permit. Years later, because there were a lot of Zimbabweans, and in 2010, they introduced the first cohort of kids under the Robert Mugabe regime, So they had a lot more Zimbabwean students coming in, and then they started offering the critical skills permit, which allowed those students to stay in the country. And immediately after you got your critical skills, it used to be that you could get perm res. It's not like that anymore. So then the ZSP was introduced. I'm giving you guys the info. I told you I was curious. The ZSP was introduced for people on asylum. So previously, see, I'm going to tell you so many things right now. Sorry. So previously, asylum was more thing that Zimbabweans used to do going into the UK.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, when you declare asylum, you can't go back. So asylum, in Shona, they call it aslam. Aslam. Permit aslam. The aslam permit. Obviously, you could travel. Because Zim is right here.
Yes.
So a lot of people have taken that on. So what? Now it's, that was 2009. Let's say the average person got theirs in 2010. It's now 13 years later. I don't blame anyone for having stayed and started a life. If it was renewable, and I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, I was in high school when it started. Now I'm working. So I think it's hard for people that, you know, because they were given space to start a life, and now suddenly you can't.
Now you're being uprooted.
Yeah.
Like, go back. To what?
To what?
Yeah.
Exactly. But at the same time, that experience of now everywhere you go, you can't gossip in Shona. Not that you don't gossip, guys.
Gossip is bad.
Don't do that. But Zimbabweans are everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm not saying take us out, but I understand why people are feeling threatened, because we are everywhere.
Yeah. And we're everywhere because things are really not good in our country at the moment. I pray things get better, but as it stands, Zimbabwe is a very difficult country to live in.
Yeah. In US dollars.
In US dollars.
So so for us, when the dollar thing is happening, it's affecting what you're gonna do when you go home. You know. So things are tough.
Yeah.
As an African, actually, things are tough.
Yeah. Because there's load shedding also, and load shedding is a problem both here and in Zim, and I'm sure in other African countries
it's
too.
An African story.
Yeah, and you know, load shedding really just uproots your whole day, like your plans, and I have young kids. You can only imagine when the electricity goes and you haven't made a bottle.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Let's do the load shedding quick fire.
Okay.
Do you have solar or gas? Which convenience do you have?
None. I have an inverter.
You have an inverter. What does it run? The laptops?
Inverter runs the TV, lamp, the Wi-Fi, computers. Yeah.
Geysers?
No.
Yeah, and you see now suddenly you have to know these things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an inverter? Do you have a battery? Do you have the
How many kilowatts is your battery? Oh, my goodness.
We all like engineers.
Yeah. And you?
I have so I went the full route, because when the electricity goes, the water goes. So at my house I have gas for cooking. And then
Nice.
I have those Chinese lights. Shout out to China with those lights. 65 Rand really goes a long way for motion sensing and all of that. And then I have a gas stove, but I have a borehole.
Okay.
Because I anticipated all of these things. So this African story, African story always begins with, sadly, the colonizer goes, the economy starts falling, the electricity goes, the water goes, and then cholera comes. So this cholera thing, we saw it coming.
Yeah. Ask us.
Ask
we
us.
know it.
Ask us what else is coming.
Yeah, DM us on Instagram. We'll tell you.
We'll tell you. We weren't even there, but we know. So I have where I stay, like it's my place. But yeah, there's a borehole where I stay. Yeah, but then it's really inconvenient because it doesn't have enough pressure.
Okay.
So I can't like flush toilets. I like
when there's no power.
I can't even take a bath. Imagine. So I'm in Africa, my friend. Busy boiling on at least I'll go to the gas stove, boil.
At least it could be worse. You could have been out there with the sticks and wood starting a fire.
But I think it's time to learn how to start a fire, because
are
we sure that gas will always be affordable? Are we sure?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you cope? Run me through. What's your it's stage 6 now, we all know. Shout out to the government. I must say thank you. The last 2 weeks my load shedding schedule has been terrible. At least it was at the same time every day. That really
Yes,
helped.
that helps with kind of establishing a
Establishing a
routine,
routine.
right?
Yeah, because the routine was killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So run me through your your load shedding schedule and your day and how it
Oh
affects
my
you.
gosh, this last week was a mess. Why? Because the electricity, so I stay in Midrand. The electricity goes, I think it was at 6 a.m. So anybody who's ever tried to get out of Midrand in the morning
Oh no.
when there's electricity,
Have mercy. Municipality, have mercy.
right? So fine.
Let's all sigh together.
So I have a little baby who needs to take her bottle at 6:30, between 6:30 and 7. Okay, there's no electricity, so I should wake up at just before the power goes, switch on the kettle, switch on the kettle, make sure the water is boiled. Then
Okay.
power can go. All right, get everybody ready for school, get dressed and ready for work, and get onto the road. My daughter's school, luckily, is literally 2 minutes up. Then I have to go drop the other little one at my mom's house,
Okay.
which is in Midrand. So this is me navigating Midrand in traffic. It takes me an hour to travel 11
No,
kilometers.
guys. Can it not be? So now it's like 7:45.
No,
Is what
by
it
this
has-
time it's like past 8. I have to be at work by at least 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
And even then, when I walk into work at 9 o'clock, everybody's like,
But I'm like, but load shedding.
do you think they care? They just want you. They don't know your schedule. I can't just look at everyone and be like, load shedding. Sorry, load shedding.
the office
Sorry,
also in
load shedding.
Midrand?
No, I work in Silverton, in
Oh,
Pretoria, which is like 100 kilometers. It's like 60 kilometers. But yeah, like every day is like a young road trip. So yeah.
Tripping load shedding.
Yeah, by the time I get to work, I'm like, oh, I feel like I've lived like half a day just because of that load shedding.
Yes, yes.
Right? Then fine, work, finish work at like 4:30, 5, get on the road again, road trip back home. Traffic, obviously,
What time do you get on the road?
between 4:30 and 5 on a good day. Between 4:30 and 5, then I'll get to my mom's place, maybe at like 5:30 to 6, fetch the baby, getting home at like maybe 6:30, 7, after 7, and then obviously my second job being the mom and being the wife and whatever. And yeah, that's like a typical day. And then also finish cooking quickly before the power goes, you know? So
And then like are the kids baths in the evening or in the morning?
in the evening,
And so if
evenings.
there's no electricity, do you just put them to sleep dirty?
No.
or- I don't know how these things work. Bella.
No. Well, the geyser will still be hot, so we don't switch off
Oh,
the
you keep it
geyser.
on the whole
We
day.
keep it on, so the water is mostly hot. So we'll bath them in the evening and then bedtime between 7:30, 8.
Okay.
And by that time, power is gone. So we might
let's
as well
just-
all sleep.
Yeah, and even if it comes back at 8, it's late.
Yeah. I mean, I have. There's sometimes we have that load shedding from when it's bad from 6 to 4
10.
hours. 6 to that's like the
4-hour
worst.
one.
That is like
The
the
4-hour
worst.
one commands you to give up your day.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do.
Accept.
There's not even the inverters at some point start like breathing heavily. They're like, no, we can't. Like
Things are bad.
no. It's bad. Like, yeah.
And I think somebody was talking about like mental health and load shedding, and I refused to think about it. But one of the things that's important with mental health is not giving up. But when you're sitting in a 4-hour load shedding, give up for your own sanity. At some point, just give up. And lately there's the one as well. We know what's coming. So this thing where the substation cuts, I think it's just a conspiracy theory. I think they have to rotate the longer
Stay
term.
tuned for 30 and conspiracy
Theories.
theories.
Watch Black Mirror to prepare. Yeah, but I think I could be wrong because okay, do you know the ward councillor shenanigan? This is such a South African thing.
No.
You don't know.
No.
Okay, I agree. DA is
Oh.
are they still? Is DA still?
I don't know.
Okay, there's political leadership in Gauteng. Our ward councillor is from DA. I never used to even know her. So how I know, so I'm not always at home anyway. How I know the electricity hasn't come back is the WhatsApp group, which has now moved to Telegram.
Okay.
Yeah, just wait 10 minutes after the scheduled time, and then someone will be like, I'm reporting to City Power. I'm teaching you guys the tricks here. This is what they are doing, the YTs are doing. So if the power doesn't come back, so I think everyone has it. If it's supposed to come back at 8, it will come. If it's supposed to come at 8:30, it comes at 8. Do you guys?
Yeah, like 15:15, a little bit earlier. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah. So if it doesn't come at 8, someone will say or if it doesn't come at that hour, someone in the group will be like, they shoot the text. Am I the only one? Right. Then there's always, then someone always starts, no, me neither. Yeah, you have to do it in an English accent. Love you guys in my group. No, me neither. And then by 8:30, somebody's like, if it doesn't come at 35 minutes past,
I'm reporting.
Report it to City Power. 35, it's going to be reported to City Power, reference number CF, na. So 15 people will do that on behalf of the community. Siyabonga. Thank you. Then they'll be like, okay, we've bombarded them enough. Because then what City Power starts doing, they start cancelling those things because they're too many. Then City Power will go onto Twitter and be like, reporting a fault for whatever. When that happens, just know 12 to 18 to 36 hours, the power is going to be gone. But what I'm starting, this is my conspiracy theory. If, let's say one day, the power doesn't go during the load shedding time, just know that one is coming for you. It's your turn for the long shedding.
I was just about to say, we've actually never had that issue of power not coming back when it's supposed to come back.
You're so lucky.
We have not. Let
me tell you what's coming. Just remember what I've told you today.
Now I'm nervous.
But the weird thing is I don't know, you get through it.
I mean, that is also the power of Africans. I mean, we get through things. Sorry to take this back to Zim, but you know what Zimbabwe went through.
Right.
People lived and survived.
Thrived. What do you
thrived
mean?
Even.
What do you mean thrived? And I remember it happening around 2000. I was coming out of Westgate shopping mall with my cousins watching a movie. And we got out at like maybe 10 past 5. But it was a mall where they used to open late, so we wanted to go get ice cream or whatever, but everything was closed. And then I was like, what's going on? And there was no adult to ask. And they're like, no, there's no electricity. Then I was like, why are you so calm about something like that?
Yeah.
And then this morning when there was no electricity, I was like, you are now in the same...
Yes. And we just make plans as Africans. We deal with things and we we move.
It's inconvenient, but it's not that inconvenient. The one thing that does bother me though is my sleep schedule is really messed up because somehow the body is very conscious. I don't know if it's because the fridge switches on and outside lights go on. So my sleep, I haven't been sleeping through the nights because I'm sleeping and waking up multiple times with the electricity.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that has really just not been cool.
So can you see how actually load shedding affects your life in its entirety? It's not just about power going. I mean, now you're not sleeping through the night. Here I am getting to work late and like being emotionally tense because, oh my gosh, what are these people going to think? They probably think I'm lazy or or whatever it is.
And you sat through an hour and 40 minutes.
And I drive a manual car.
I'm also going through the same thing.
Like, it's rough.
The thigh muscle, my friend.
Like, you see, load shedding is affecting our muscles.
Guys.
And this winter, the car will just stop if you're not careful because it's cold.
It's cold.
So, like, yeah, man, I don't know. Routines have really been just thrown out of the window so many times because of the whole load shedding thing.
And I think
and as we grow older, I don't know about you, but for me, routine has really become something that keeps me grounded and keeps me, focused. As soon as something goes amiss out of the routine, it's like I kind of lose my footing and have to take another 2 hours or 3 hours to regroup and adjust. And what is 3 hours? 3 hours, your day is done,
right.
So
and that's like life is unroutine on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
I don't even. Yeah. Anyway, I had a therapy session this morning about it.
About load shedding or about
No, about routine,
okay.
and it's actually quite an important thing. Like I think, and that's the thing about being like 30. It's like when you're in your 20s, you can do whatever. But somehow when you're in 30, when you're in your 30s, you just can't. Like
Before you go, can we just reflect back on the 20s and how you could just do whatever? I feel like for me, like I loved that part of my life where every morning was something different. You like, Saturday morning, for example, I'm going to church, but I don't know where I'm going to end up. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. After church, someone says, let's go to Krugersdorp. Yeah. Let's go. We're there.
we're gonna sleep there.
Okay.
Where are we sleeping?
We don't know.
House are we at?
We don't care.
There's no food.
That was that was the life. I really enjoyed that. But like you said, when you then move and you like I said to you, the 30s are almost about like life stabilizing a little bit, not too much, a little bit.
Right.
And with that stabilization, that's where that routine comes in and becomes very important. Because also in my 20s, I had just started working. I wasn't really bothered about a lot of things regarding work. But now you're trying to establish yourself professionally. You really need to, eat right. You need to eat right. You need to
take your supplements, homie. Do you take your supplements? When
collagen, iron, B12.
B12. I thought it was the only one. I need my B12.
Yeah. I mean, when we were 20, we didn't need those things. But I mean, and like I said, it's about life stabilizing, not necessarily.
Supplement? Sorry, what is your favorite supplement?
B12.
B12.
Definitely.
It has like this effect of like it's not calming. It's like sanity. I don't know. For me, it makes me feel like very sane. I don't know how to explain.
For me, I feel like it gives me the energy to do not energy to run around the house. No, energy to do what I need to do, to get things done, to be organized, to be, I feel like it gives me, maybe.
Yeah, just the
focus. Something like that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So B12 for me.
We've not talked about this before. B12 is the
Guys, get yourself
B12. What's your favorite brand of B12?
Slow Mag.
The Slow Mag. Mine is Revite.
I don't know Revite. I must try it out.
Yeah, we should bring each other. It's in the 30s. Let's do a little exchange, but Revite is definitely mine.
Slow Mag is like mixed with a whole lot of
magnesium as well.
Yeah.
Is it pink?
It's pink, yeah. Is it? Do you use effervescence?
No, I have an ulcer.
Oh.
You see, now
ulcer.
I know my pH balances in foods. I know what can trigger my.
Being 30 is nice.
Yeah, and the thing is, you see that thing. So we used to do that Saturday thing together a lot. That was a very short time ago.
Yeah, it was. It
was actually a very short.
It was, and now all of a sudden we have to be organized human beings.
But actually, doing that kind of thing now sounds like a nightmare.
No, it doesn't sound nice.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound nice.
Just have clarity.
Can we have order, please? Going where? No, we didn't plan that. No. Where are we sleeping? No.
And it's so cathartic to hear because I thought I'm like that, and I'm like, no, I thought it. You think it's like a kids and a home thing. No, it's a 30 thing.
Yeah, it's a growing older thing.
If you didn't tell me by Thursday, leave it.
Yes, for real though. Yeah. If you didn't tell me by Thursday, it's not happening.
And not even every Thursday. Just leave. Just leave it.
Be organized. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And yeah, so routine I think it's very important in our 30s. And even me as a mom, also, I feel like if I didn't have routine, I would literally go crazy, even with the kids.
Even with B12.
Even with B12, because even they know when at a certain time it's bath time, at a certain time it's playtime, at a certain time, even they know that. So imagine if everything was just haphazard, no, it would just not work.
I think that, and the thing that's making me just jumping back to load shedding and scheduling, right? So, okay, so I hate to be a prophet of doom. So what happens with this now is inflation hits and everything gets more expensive, right? So, academic study, when I started doing my postgrad, my actual academic study, I wanted to ask people questions like, what do you do when there's no electricity? Because at the time, it wasn't so much of a thing.
Yeah.
It would happen here and there. So, just interesting, like looking at things like routine. When there's no electricity, your first thought is food.
Yes. What am I
Right.
going to eat?
So when it happens once every 10 days, you would just automatically just go out for food, right? Go out for food, and then let's say it's unfortunate and it's water and electricity at the same time. You're gonna be doing Valpre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people maybe used to think cute thoughts like, "I'll just bath in Valpre," because if it's a water cut, if it's a water cut and you didn't see it coming, what would you do?
Can I just say I've never had that
Oh,
thought
really?
of I'll just bath in Valpre.
No, it's because it's my profession. So okay, like as an African spatial practitioner. Okay, by the way, our houses are not. This is my favorite topic. Actually, let's do this another day. because this is my
I see you
favorite
are
topic.
getting carried away.
Our homes and urban areas are not designed for the system failure. We are actually set up for failure, and as an African country, as Africans, we failed to set up for that. 'Cause
Which
how
is
are you
so
supposed to go out?
strange.
We anticipating that they will be water cuts. It's a fact. But what are you going to do? Where are you going to fetch water? This is not Zimbabwe. Actually,
Yeah.
Zimbabwe dug wells and
Yeah,
wells.
yeah.
So if you're staying in a complex,
In a complex, where are you
in
going to
a-
get water?
even in an estate in your 2 million rand house,
Where are you going to
Where
get
you gonna
water?
get
Yeah.
like seriously, where are you going to get? How are you going to bath? Is it going to be Valpre? And then, so first it's what are you going to eat? So it used to be very cute. People used to go out and eat. Now you can't do that.
Oh, yeah. The other day we ate Nando's because there was no electricity, and it was not a treat. It was just like, why are we spending so much money on takeaway? We should be cooking our own food. This is expensive. It was not even fun.
Yeah, and even shout out to Nando's. Then Nando's, well, I'm not saying Nando's did it for us, but they did it for us. Like those Kasapap meals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even I see they have like the family meals.
But still.
It's so expensive.
It's so everything.
and it's a knock
Let's
on,
not go
then it
there.
knocks on your routine.
Yeah.
And then now your appliances are surging. My fridge is so bad. And it's really expensive, and it messes with financial routine. And one of the things in being 30, there's this Instagram account where they show which shop has the affordable groceries. I find myself looking at
Yeah.
that thing.
And following it because, hey, man, the pocket is not pocketing.
Pocket is not pocket. Yeah. And just that routine of being like, so Vele, we're not going to be able to afford B12 in 3 months. Go and stock up and things like that. Like, if the price of Millimil is going up, the price of the B12 will go up.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
We buy more.
Yeah. We bribe more. Yeah, that's the positive side of it. Yeah, we bribe more. But yeah, Tina, these are important conversations, and sometimes we don't have the answers. But just having the conversation and understanding that I'm not alone, sitting in
I
that
also
traffic
get
with
to
my
work at
manual
9
car.
o'clock.
You also
I'm
get to
actually
work
about
at.
I'm considering relocating because everyone is looking at me strangely.
And it gets to you at some point. You just feel like,
Don't you guys also have load shedding?
right? How did you get here so early?
And it's like, yo, Malibo will really hit me today. But I won't be lying.
Right?
I won't be lying.
But then people are gonna be like, it's just excuses. Or I feel like people are just gonna be like,
okay,
just an
but what
excuse.
are you supposed to do now? Leave the house at 6. So just let it all happen to you, but earlier. Okay, maybe other adults are doing it, and shout out to them.
But
Let us know.
waking up at 4. What
Are you
time do you guys
serious?
wake
What
up
time
to
do you
get
guys
to
wake?
work? Please let us know in the comments.
The load shedding time and the non-load shedding time. Yeah, maybe. Just tell us.
Sure. Because it's rough here. I don't know.
It's so rough.
And Tina, you don't even have kids yet.
This is what my mom said to me. She was like, you're so bad. See.